My name is Cassandra Sullivan, though only my mother ever uses it. To everyone else I'm simply Cassie. I was 28 when what should have been the happiest night of my life, my engagement party, slid straight into something that felt like a psychological thriller. That evening I stood beside my fiancé, Nathan, in a cream silk dress, surrounded by 70 smiling guests and one face I could never fully trust. My mother, Elizabeth, walked toward me holding 2 glasses of wine for the bride-to-be. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Something was off. Her expression didn't align with her mouth, and the red wine she offered carried a strange medicinal smell. My stomach dropped. Acting on instinct alone, I swapped glasses with my sister Ally when she wasn't paying attention. At the time it felt harmless. Just a reflex, nothing more. But what followed confirmed everything. You see, my mother has always been the type of woman who needs control over every detail. From the clothes we wore to the people we were allowed to become. Her love came with conditions. Her approval always cost something. I spent my entire life chasing it. And that night I finally understood I might never earn it. Hit like if you've ever experienced that moment when your gut screamed louder than the voice telling you to ignore it. Because if I hadn't trusted mine, I might not be here to tell this story. And believe me, you'll want to know what happened after Ally drank the wine that was meant for me. Growing up in our picture-perfect Portland home, everything looked flawless from the outside. White picket fence, holiday cards, coordinated sweaters. But behind closed doors, my mother, Elizabeth Sullivan, managed our lives like a carefully staged production. I was the lead actress, and every move I made had to follow her script. Sit up straight. Don't slouch. A B+ isn't acceptable. Change that outfit. It makes you look heavy. She called it love. I called it pressure wrapped in pearls. My sister Ally, though, was the favorite. Where I received cold stares and subtle insults, Ally was showered with praise, warmth, and applause. Her average grades were well-rounded. Her messy room was creative. As for me, I learned how to vanish politely. I straightened my naturally curly hair because she said curls looked unprofessional. I quit photography because it was too artsy. I dated boys from the country club because they photographed well for the family album. By 16 I had anxiety. By 20 my perfectionism had become so sharp it carved me open from the inside. College became my way out. Northwestern was far enough away that surprise visits weren't an option. For the first time in my life I finally had room to breathe. Real friends. A future I had chosen for myself. I let my curls grow back. I picked up my camera once more. And when I met Nathan, gentle, steady, and never intimidated by my drive, I felt something entirely new. Safe. But when I told Mom we were engaged, she gave me that same thin smile and said, "Emerald, how unconventional." That was the first hint. The second came in the glass of wine she handed me on a night meant to celebrate love. The night of our engagement party, I stood in a cream silk gown, clinking glasses and smiling for the cameras in the grand ballroom Mom had staged like a Broadway production. Everything was flawless. Too flawless. The chandeliers gleamed. The flowers screamed old money elegance. And the guest list was packed with people I hadn't seen in 10 years but who, according to Mom, simply had to attend. Nathan squeezed my hand as we made our way through the crowd. "We can leave anytime," he whispered. I smiled. "Just a few hours, then it's over." That's when I saw her. Elizabeth Sullivan. Sliding toward me in a designer dress, 2 glasses of wine in hand. She handed me the red one with that familiar, polished, posed smile. "Empty. Champagne gives you headaches, remember?" she said smoothly. I didn't remember that because it wasn't true. I lifted the wine to my nose. Something was wrong. Not the usual notes of berries or oak. No, this smelled chemical, medicinal. And in that instant my instincts screamed. So when Ally turned to whisper to her husband, I swapped our glasses. I didn't think. I just acted, moving toward new beginnings. Mom toasted. Everyone drank. For the next 30 minutes I kept my eyes on her. Watching her watch me, waiting. Nothing happened to me. But Ally, something was happening to her. At first I thought she was just tipsy, maybe dehydrated. But within minutes her hands were shaking. Her voice slurred, her gaze unfocused. James wrapped an arm around her. "Something's wrong," he said. "I'm fine," Ally insisted, swaying, her face pale and slick with sweat. But then she nearly collapsed. I rushed to her side. Let's get her to the bathroom. She didn't make it far before dropping to her knees, vomiting so violently I could barely keep her hair out of her face. James hovered helpless. This isn't just wine, I said. This isn't normal. He was already dialing 911. When the paramedics arrived, Ally was barely conscious, her breathing shallow, her limbs limp. The elegant soiree Mom had orchestrated descended into chaos. Guests whispered. Waiters hurried to clear glasses. And my mother, Ally gasped. Oh my God, what's happening to Allison? Her voice sounded shocked, concerned. But I couldn't shake the chill crawling up my spine. That wine, the one Ally drank, was meant for me. Nathan drove us to the hospital. Neither of us said a word. She didn't meet my gaze, but the judge read the charges. Attempted poisoning, reckless endangerment, assault. And I saw it. The flicker in her eyes. Not shame, not remorse, but fear. Fear of losing control. She entered a plea guilty to lesser charges, mandatory psychiatric treatment, probation, and a restraining order. Outside, a reporter asked, "Do you forgive her?" I answered honestly, "Forgiveness isn't a single moment. It's a journey, and I'm choosing healing." For the first time I felt free. And that was the start of my freedom. Not just from Mom's control, but from the belief that love had to be earned through perfection. Today I live with boundaries, clarity, and the peace that comes from choosing myself. Not out of selfishness but survival. If you've ever had to walk away from someone you love to protect your peace, remember, you are not alone, you are not broken, and you are not responsible for fixing what someone refuses to acknowledge. Have you ever made a tough choice to protect yourself? Has your intuition ever saved you like mine did? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder. You are allowed to choose peace, even if it means walking away from family. Thank you for being here. Your story matters. You matter.